Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to you. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to the Money Cure. About to say the Actors Area, my other podcast, but I sincerely meant the Money Cure. So that being said, thank you guys for joining in today. As always, we appreciate you. Can't say that enough. Your love, your support, everything that you have provided towards this podcast just by tuning in and hopefully gaining from the knowledge and wisdom that is being shared here. So yeah, once again, thank you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, as always, please please write to us at shaung04@gmail.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we possibly can, happily and joyfully. Love hearing from our listeners. And just a big hello and sending good vibes and prosperous vibes and great energy out to everybody around the world. Guys, we continue to grow. It seems like week after week I check the stats and, we're showing up in different places where we had been before. And so that's really quite wonderful. So I just want to throw that out there for a bit. Let's get into today's message. This is something that when I discovered it, I kind of kicked myself a bit. And then when I really understood it, I really started to kick myself because, being human, we're all just like, well, dang it, if I could have discovered this, 10 years earlier, 15 years earlier, 30 years earlier, where would my life actually be right now? But the reality is, it wasn't necessarily meant to happen at that time. It happened when you were ready for it. And so if that day is today, if that day, like it was for me, is the day today for you and you find out, then I just wanted to throw that out there. That's such a tongue twister. I want to throw that out there because, I want you to know that you're discovering this information at the perfect divine time, because now is the time that you're ready for it. And I'm more than happy to show it to you. So basically, let's get into the topic, right? Money does not manifest from our actions. It manifests from our vibration and our consciousness. Okay. And so at first glance, this can be kind of confusing, because you're like, well, wait a minute. Wasn't I taught as a child and as a young adult and even into my own adulthood that if I wanted to make a lot of money, I had to go and get it and work for it? And the answer is, we've all likely been told that, unless we're born into a family full of occultists or Freemason thinkers or, mystics. We've all been put in a position where we have been given this sort of action plan to try and manifest. And the reason why is that limits the power in what you're able to express and what you're able to manifest in your life. And I'm going to explain that as to why that happens and why that unfolds in the way that it does, right? So let's get into that today. So once again, money doesn't manifest, right, from our actions. It manifests from our consciousness and our vibration. And so here's where I'm going to start off at. So when we look at the outside world, when we look at the physical world is a direct mirror reflection to our consciousness, to our deeper, sincere, authentic thoughts about ourselves and about the world, right? And every single thing you experience outside that comes into your awareness is all you, right? It's all you being reflected back to you. This is why we say life is one of the greatest teachers, because all you have to do is look at your life and see what it is giving you, right? What are people telling you? about, anything, right? Like, let's say if there's something you think that you're really good at, well, what is somebody saying in reference to that? Are they saying, okay, yeah, you're really good? Or are they saying something different? Because here's the thing. It's not even necessarily about what the person says. It's about how does that reflect to the consciousness, the inner feeling that I'm carrying, right? Does it align with who I am? Does it align with what I know to be true? Because ultimately, reality is about what we believe to be true, not necessarily what is true. And that makes it fun because that gives us the opportunity to really expand ourselves on a consistent basis with our beliefs and our understandings about how life works. So when I think about that information, that's the most pivotal point to know if you're going to understand what we're talking about here today. And it is because once you understand everything is a mirror reflection of you, you understand that you're fully responsible for everything that happens in your life. No matter what it is, you are fully 100% responsible. And if you are ready to take on that, right? You're ready to take on that entire, magnitude of responsibility, then you are ready to understand how the world works as it bases itself off of you, or rather how the universe operates as it bases itself off of you. Okay. So a bit of backstory here. When I was growing up, I didn't really have any mentors until I would say in my early 20s. And so every person I was ever exposed to didn't possess any type of knowledge as far as what I possess now. And that's kind of staggering, but it pretty much was something that was inspired from within that allowed me to come out and really just dive into this in the way that I have, especially in the last 10 years or so. And like I said, I'm not upset. I'm not blaming anybody, but their lack of knowledge drove, inspired, and created a desire in me to really figure out how to understand the truth. And when the truth finally revealed itself to me, I thought to myself, oh, I got to share this. I got to share this because this is just too good of information or wisdom, if you will, to just keep to yourself. And a lot of people will do that. Why? Because we live in a world where some people, not all, but some people feel like it's better to suppress others as opposed to enlighten them. And I'm just not that individual. I never will be, never have been. If I got the information, I'm likely to divulge it for free and just go from there. I'm just never going to hold back with whatever the divine gives me. So, but I was saying that I was always taught to go after the money, right? Work to get the money. Now, I was talking about this on my Instagram earlier today, and the problem is that money is an expression of consciousness. It's an expression of the amount of abundance, wealth, prosperity, and riches we feel within ourselves, right? And what that means is that energy, that soul energy, your whole aura, your whole vibration emits a frequency that determines in the universe whether or not it's resonant or non-resonant with money, right? So chances are, if you see a lot of money flowing into your life, there's a lot of, resources available to you. You are resonant, right? Your deeper energy is resonating with money showing up. If it's the opposite, right, then there's some hiccups there. And I'm going to tell you, the number one block that people are more than likely unaware of is that if you go after money, it's going to elude you. Okay, I'm going to say that again. If you go after money, it's going to elude you. Why? Because money is just form. Money is an outpictured mirror reflection of you and your consciousness and the energy that you carry. So when we know that, immediately when I understood this, I stopped chasing money, right? It may look like from the outside, people, will come up to me and say, well, you really focus a lot on money. I was like, well, are you listening to what I'm saying? Are you really paying attention to what I'm saying? Because what I am teaching, more so than just money, is a money consciousness. The whole money cure is about a money consciousness, right? The ability to develop the beliefs, the feelings, the thoughts, all that stuff that builds a soulful consciousness and allowing you to reflect more money and more resources and more whatever it is you desire into your life. That's what it comes down to. But we can't do that, right? We can't do that if, and I'm going to give you an example here. We can't do that if we are going after something we have no power to change, right? And people will, you may think I'm nuts, but I'm going to give you an example. And this is a perfect example because it shows like what happens when we go after the solid form, the physical expression, the material expression of money being paper and now Bitcoin and all these things, right? Here's what happens. Here's a perfect example, right? So let's say you go to the bathroom and you look in the mirror, and let's say you just finished eating and there is a piece of food on the side of your face. Now, tell me this, and this is as simplified as it gets. Would you reach towards the mirror and try to wipe the food off of your face? It sounds like a trick question, but it's not, right? Would you reach to the mirror, towards the mirror, to wipe the food off your face? No, right? You would wipe the food off of your face, and then it would reflect into the mirror. Okay? Stay with me. So when you think about this and how important this is to how life works, right? And this was a difficult transition for me. It doesn't have to be for you, but it was a difficult transition for me because I was working excessively to try and manifest money, but nothing would happen. Why? Because I was trying to wipe the stuff off of my face by wiping the mirror. It doesn't work that way, right? It can't. Because if that was the case, then you would be able to reach through the mirror and like have some kind of mystical power. But no, our power comes when we understand whatever we are reflecting is what's inside of us, right? So in my heart of hearts, growing up, when I knew that I was less than financially adequate, even broke to a large degree, I'm saying to myself, when I discovered this wisdom, there's something in me that's reflecting this, right? Maybe I just don't have a core belief in abundance. I have a core belief in lack, right? So you see what I'm saying? And so I had to go through the process of what everybody does, right? You don't have any money. What do most people do? Oh, I'm going to go get a job, right? That's trying to wipe the mirror to get the stuff off your face. See what I'm saying? Most people say, well, I'm going to ask this person. Same deal, right? You may get the money from the person, and then all of a sudden it burns your hand so quick. Why? Because the inner life has not changed, right? The inner life has not changed. Here's an added analogy to what I just said, right? So you hear so much about lottery winners and why they lose. All their money in a really like super duper quick time frame. And so what happens is, let's take the example of the mirror again. So imagine standing in the mirror and someone taking, let's say, $1 million, and they attempt to put it on you, to put it on top in the hands of the mirror reflection. What's going to happen? It's going to slide down the mirror, hit the floor, and you're going to lose it all, right? But say if they decided to take that money and put it in your hands, guess what happens? In the mirror reflection, you still have the money, right? The mirror begins to reflect the truth. It always, when it comes to the universe, the mirror is always going to reflect the truth of who you are in that moment, who you are from the standpoint of your thoughts, from the standpoint of your core convictions and beliefs about yourself. It is always going to reflect that. And I love that example because it shows you, don't just change it. Don't just try and transform things from the outside because it's futile, right? Don't try and change the mirror reflection. Change what's in reference to you, and then the mirror reflection will change. Okay? And this is Vibration 101, Universal Law 101. This is how it works. If you can get this, you can be anything you want in your life because you know all I have to do is find the resonance. All I have to do is find the vibration. All I have to do is build the consciousness within myself to be this thing, to have this thing, right? As Reverend Ike used to say, to be, do, and have exactly what you want to do, you got to be, do, and have it within you first, right? So let's say you're running into some financial issues, and the first thing comes to mind for most people, if you're in the workforce, put in more hours, right? Got to put in more hours, or maybe I'll go find a second job. And oftentimes we see way too much burnout, right? Because we're trying to change the reflection. That's the most trippiest thing about life. You were taught to believe that you can change the reflection, but the reality is you can't. And if you do find a way to change it, it won't last long, right? This is why that whole saying, they came up, if I give you a fish, you'll eat for a day. If I teach you how to fish, you'll eat for life. Well, the reality is, if I give you money, you'll be rich for a moment. If I teach you how to manifest it properly, you'll be rich for your entire life. And that's why this is so valuable, because it's teaching you, it's telling you how the process really goes. And now I'm going to share with you, there are some individuals who can do this unconsciously. They just have no problems whatsoever. Why? Because what's inside of them is programmed to resonate with money. And so it reflects back to them, where it basically reflects in the mirror, right? And ultimately, we're all programmed by the people in the environment that we're around in the first 7 years of our life. I think even more so. But that's what determines how we are able to, show up in the world, and how our reflection as it relates to money decides to show up, right? It all gets back once again to the consciousness that we're holding. So we mentioned vibration. And so vibration is the language of the universe. Vibration is basically energy that resonates on a frequency. And everything in the entire universe has a frequency, right? I have a frequency right now, which is making people all across the world tune in wherever they are. I don't know who they are, but they're tuning into my frequency. They're tuning into my resonance, right? Same with the microphone I'm using, same with the computer, same with, whatever device you're listening to this on. Every single thing, every atom, every molecule in the universe vibrates. It has a resonance, right? And what happens is that every molecule that vibrates at the same exact level or resonance or frequency it's going to start to move towards each other. It magnetizes each other, right? This is just like, I can tell you, when the universe is kind of trippy when you think about the science behind it, but this is what happens. These molecules, they move. These energy particles, they move towards the like energy, the like frequency, right? So that tells us whatever we're holding within ourselves, we're magnetizing the exact same thing that resonates at that frequency. And if you want to know what that is, look at your life, right? What are you manifesting? What is showing up as a mirror reflection in your life? Are you happy? Are you excited about it? Are you thrilled? Are you lukewarm? Are you feeling like, well, it could be different? Guess what? That's all good, because it's only a canvas, right? And the beauty is you get to recreate the canvas every single day. Now, depending on how deep or far down you are with a certain resonance or frequency, it may take a bit of time to get out of that. But at the same time, you can get out of it, because when your molecules begin to vibrate on a different level or a different frequency and resonance, they're going to manifest, magnetize, attract, if you will, the exact same molecules and particles in that frequency, right? It's just that, it's that easy. It's simply scientific, but it's sometimes it's so easy you have to scratch your head to be like, is this all there is to it? And the reality is, this is all there is to it, right? So when I know, okay, and this is tying into money because it says the money cure, when I know and I'm aware that my entire being, my entire energy field is resonating at a frequency, right? I need to look at my life and see, okay, where does this frequency lie, as it relates to money? And I just got to look at my life, right? I can look at every single thing financially and try and see where I am resonating. And then most importantly, and this is the most important thing, how do I feel? Because I'm going to tell you, what you're feeling today is going to reflect in the mirror tomorrow or the next day or the next day. Feeling, aka vibration, is what's going to move the universe into action, right? So I ask myself, what am I feeling, right? When it comes to money, when I say money, what comes up, right? Or if I look at my life right now, what does it show me? What does it allow me to see? What does it allow me to have? What does it allow me to know that I can be, right? These are all deeper energies that we have to dive into. Now, here comes the beautiful part. Once I understand what type of resonance money is on, if I vibrate at that level, at that frequency, okay, if I vibrate at that frequency and I have that in my consciousness and it starts to emit this energy out into the world, all my cells are emitting that energy, guess what? The reflection is going to inevitably show me as prosperous, show me as abundant, show me as wealthy. And it does not matter what type of job I have. It does not matter, where I live. It does not matter. The universe is not bound by time and space and effort and physicality and all that stuff. It can transcend all those because energy doesn't work on time, right? That's just how it is. It doesn't work on time. But if I can emit and vibrate and resonate at that energy that is welcoming and attracting to money, guess what? I never have to chase money ever again in my life. All I have to do is keep that resonance, keep that frequency. And what I mean keep, not struggle, but ask your inner guidance. Like, what do I need to do to keep my energy high enough to be on the same frequency as expressed abundance, aka money, right? What do I need to do? Like I remember I used to ask and it would tell me energy medicine, right? Tell me take a walk, go take a walk in nature. Tell me go swim by the ocean, right? Just go be creative, go do a podcast, go do this, go do, like, it would give me different ideas to keep the resonance up. And instead of me going after and chasing the money, feeling like I needed to get like 6 different jobs, my energy, my vibration, my consciousness, as I'm doing the energy medicine, as I'm doing the meditation, as I'm doing the walk up the mountains, it is manifesting money into my life, right? Without me having to effort and make stuff happen, right? That action that my divine guidance has given me has allowed me to emit out a frequency that catches money wherever it is, no matter where it is and who it's coming from. If I'm in resonance with it, it's coming to me. And it will do this in the most strangest, according to, human thought and human theory, it will do this in the most strangest ways. And you just think to yourself, wow, that is some pure magic happening. And the fact of the matter is, it's definitely magical, but it's not really magic. It's just the science of the universe. Everything vibrates, right? Same with people. This happens with when you realize you, let's say you're in a relationship and you're absolutely loving the relationship. Well, guess what? You guys are vibrating on the same level that is just magnetic, right? Everything in the universe works under this law, works under this capacity. And when we understand that, we no longer ever feel like we are lacking. We no longer ever feel like we need to just go out there and take massive action and get in touch with this one and get in touch with that one. No, we will be led from the emittance of the energy alone to find our abundance without even looking for it, right? To find our express abundance without even looking for it, because true abundance is within. True wealth is within. True riches is within us. It's our consciousness. It's our vibration we hold. And then we can, from there, it takes away the stress, right? People are stressed dramatically because there's an attachment, there's an over focus on the reflection in the mirror as opposed to the person that is looking in the mirror. And what that means is there's more of a focus on the outer life than there is on the inner life, right? So what happens is anything you focus on or you attach yourself to in the outer life too much is going to create an attachment. And attachment creates anxiety. It creates fear. It creates stress. It creates worry, right? So if you're stressed out, fearful, worried about money, guess what? You're attached to the physical form. I can almost guarantee it, because that's the only way. Because if you were deep within yourself and you were feeling the truth and understanding of the law that I just gave you, you're not stressed out. You're in complete and total peace as well as control, because you're understanding my energy is ultimately going to determine how abundant or how lackful I am, right? But it's up to me to decide and to not try and clean my face, clean my body in the reflection, right? Not try to fix the outside without leveling up the energy on the inside, first and foremost. This is on a whole different level than you've been taught. But the reality is the only thing that can bring it about is the desire to accrue this knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Without that, you're still stuck in the same patterns that rob your ability to manifest, right? Because here's the thing. If you're looking to manifest an effect, right? If you're looking to manifest paper money, it's almost like you've given up your entire power as a creator, right? That lies internally to try and get something outside of yourself. And it is damn near impossible. It is impossible, and it is frustrating because it never pans out the way that you think it should. And that reason being is because the universe is not built to sustain that, right? It's built to sustain that in the fact if you lost all your money today or tomorrow, the consciousness of you being infinitely wealthy and abundant and prosperous would sustain you, right? There would be never any need for anything because that consciousness affirms within yourself and then ultimately to the universe that you always have more than enough. So what's going to happen? Immediately, more than enough is going to show up, right? Universe abhors a vacuum. I used to hear that all the time. I'm like, what does that mean? It means that if there is a vacuum for something, if someone is holding a consciousness and it appears as if the reality is not measuring up to that consciousness, guess what's going to happen? The universe is going to level it off. It's going to fix it right away because energy has to be in correspondence with the inner energy, right? Or with all types of energy. Energy is always alike. It always is symbiotic in some form. So when we know this and we can understand this, we never have to be stressed anymore, right? You get stressed out financially, you know what you do? You meditate and you hold true to your consciousness, right? You focus on the divine essence within you, which is the ultimate form of abundance, and you just hold space for that, right? And that energy will resonate. That energy will emit itself out into the universe where it finds a match. It finds a vibrational match. And that vibrational match will be money, will be opportunity, will be resources that show up depending on where your awareness is. Sometimes it will come extraordinarily fast, according to human thought and theory. And sometimes it'll be a bit slower. It just all depends on where you're vibrating, right? That's all that matters. Vibrate the energy of the thing that you want. Hold the consciousness of the things that you desire to have, and you don't have to go after them. You just express yourself, and these things unfold, and they're magnetized to your life by that energy that you're holding within yourself. It's as simple as that. Guys, I encourage you to listen to this. Again, this is probably one of the longest podcasts I've done, but it is so important to relay this message because once you get it, you're in the driver's seat. You know, you're in the driver's seat and you are ready to take precedence and take charge of your financial life. And this is just, it's some magical stuff, man. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you. You begin to understand how much easier life can be when all you got to do is stay focused on bringing the energy up to the frequency, up to the vibration and the resonance of the reality of the mirror reflection you want to see. And you hold that within yourself, not in an attached way, but in a way that is free, in a way that says, you know what, I'm going to allow this resonance, this vibration, this frequency to come into my being. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to ask for inner guidance, and I'm going to do everything I can to resonate on that frequency. And I promise you, money will begin to show up in your life more than it ever has. That's what counts. It's not about chasing what's outside. It's about building on the inside and then the outside will reflect that. That's the magic of the universe. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Very excited about this message. And please, if it impacted you in any way, shape, or form, share it with other people. Everybody needs to hear it because, it's really important that we are able to live the life that we truly desire and have the resources we truly desire. So with that being said, feel free to share it anywhere you like. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, shaung04@gmail.com. We'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for listening in wherever you are. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Have a wonderful day if you're getting started there. And we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Reverend Sean Robert Grant signing off. Take care.